Yo, what's up, folk? Now today, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have ourselves a little bit of a history lesson. We're gonna have us a history lesson here. Now, it's pretty recent history. It's pretty recent. But as we can see, the lights in this particular part of the building are still on. And this is FDMG property. FDMG property. Now, you can see red, black, and green being represented on the block. You can also see FDMG is the owner of 610, 611, 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802. Now, what I want to know is, what is the role? What do you believe your role is as a FDMG, turn the heat off, as a FDMG donor? And do you have a responsibility for taking ownership of this venture? Now, let me tell you how I believe you can actually get that done. That's what I believe. Hashtag New Reconstruction. Hashtag NRC. Let me say it again. Hashtag New Reconstruction. Hashtag NRC. We're going to apply democratic capitalism. We're going to economically mobilize the middle and underclass through group economics. And while I'm sitting here, I actually just noticed something. It looked like somebody tried to pull a kick door. Right there, it's a hole in the building. That wasn't there on the day that I did the little tour. But somebody obviously been here, paid Umar a visit. Now, we don't know if that was compliments of the anti-fraud warriors over there. We don't know if that was compliments of somebody, one of Umar's baby mamas, but it definitely looked like it been going down over there at that particular entrance. But that ain't what we here for. All right, now dig the move. FDMG donors, it's time for us to have some donor activism. It's time to display some activism. All right, now I think what y'all really should be trying to do is help Umar out. Help him from himself. Save him from himself. Because this is not a venture that can be executed by one man. It's impossible. I know you have a great deal of confidence in Umar Johnson. All of his 6 degrees and his great orator skills. Whatever it is that you admire about Umar Johnson, his ability to understand the concepts of child psychology and his ability to teach parents how to parent their children and how to manipulate, or not manipulate, how to maneuver in those interagency meetings when their children are being auctioned off by these agencies. I need y'all to all lend me your ear for a second. Now look, I'm thinking the best move is for the FDMG donor group to take ownership of these buildings. These buildings right here. It's time for y'all to take ownership of not only these buildings, but our community. All right? And I'm going to tell y'all why I know that that's a viable strategy. I'm going to tell you why. Because as you saw in the thumbnail, the Maurice J. Moyer Academy. The Maurice J. Moyer Academy actually used to be a charter school here in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, what had happened was they were servicing children from 6th grade to 12th grade. And they opened up in 2006 as a charter school. They got their charter granted in 2006 from the state of Delaware. And what happened was they closed in 2010. So that's a very short stint. Now, they ended up reopening in 2012, and they were called New Moyer Academy, something like that. And shortly after that, they got closed down again. So you ask yourself, you all heard the old adage, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. If you don't know your history, people, we are doomed to repeat it. So let's look into what actually happened with the Maurice J. Moyer Academy. And these are very similar ventures. These ventures are very similar. The objectives and the mission and the catalyst for these two programs, the Moyer Academy and the FDMG, School for Black Boys Academy, very, very similar in their mission. But what happened was the Moyer Academy did not get their charter renewed because there are certain criteria. There are actually 14 criteria that have to be met. And the Delaware Student Testing Program didn't feel like, or it wasn't a feeling. They have a criteria, and the kids at the Moyer Academy were not up to par academically in math and reading, etc. So the academics and the curriculum was in question, all right, and it was found to be not up to par. So I would like to see more than one person working on the FDMG Academy School for Black Boys curriculum so that we don't repeat that particular mistake. And I think the only way that that's going to happen is if people actually get involved and stop allowing Umar to call all the shots, because this is a plan for failure, in my opinion. Because we all know a school is a very, very large undertaking. And that's not something that one person can facilitate. Definitely not something that one person can build. But let's move forward. The Moyer Academy was closed down the last time, I believe it was closed in 2015. So it wasn't actually, it was closed because of underperformance in academics. It was not closed because of code violations for the building. So in all actuality, that is why when I look at the outside of the building and I see that there's no real structural damage, and I see that the windows are just covered up, and that, you know, obviously Umar is the only real resource that we have, the only real reference that we have to tell us whether or not what's actually going on inside the building. But without being in there, if I was to be thinking about buying this as a FDMG group of donors and investors, I would say, okay, we can't look inside. It's a foreclosure. Say it was a foreclosure. We can't look inside, but we could guesstimate. And it looked to me like, since the last people didn't violate any building code violations, it seemed to me like L&I was on the same page with them when they closed. So unless there's some squatters up in there, we pretty much can presume that the inside of it, with the help of thousands of FDMG School for Black Boys donors or investors, which is what I want you to be, and I'm going to get into that. Donors, investors, as a group with sweat equity can get this thing popping. And you already know we got all the resources in our community, because we all the black folks went to school, got their masters in education and psychology and criminology, and that's just what we do. We ain't tearing up the industries as far as engineering and robotics and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we making our presence felt, but we know that the education field is oversaturated with black folks. So we could get this to actually move forward. If it wasn't for this one-man gang that y'all allowing, which we always allow, this one person who is trying his damnedest, but in my opinion, all of his efforts are frivolous and in vain, because there's no way that one person is going to actually open up a school, fund a school, open a school, and then is going to actually be able to generate enough money in a private school. In my opinion, my humble opinion, from the outside looking in, and I am on the outside, I'm not in the inside, I'm on the outside. And I like what I see on the outside, but I'm on the outside. So we just got to keep things in perspective. Now, the Moyer Academy. The Moyer Academy. They had a student enrollment goal of 300 minimum and 500 up to 530, and they didn't meet the requirements. So they ended up having to lay a lot of people off. And that is what we really need to avoid. You FDMG good guys out there, y'all need to really be digging up on what we getting into, because you might be running us into a burning house over here if y'all don't organize this business plan and this business model, if y'all don't get this thing to look like something that's viable. Because some people tell me that an IPO school is not viable, but a donation business model for a school to actually get it erected and then actually facilitate and pay salaries, to me, that doesn't seem to be viable. But I'm all open to hearing what the business plan actually is. Now, Umar Johnson is, in my opinion, it looks like he's the one who wants to be the principal of this school. Umar Johnson wants to be the principal of a school. Yes, the Umar Johnson that we always see online, going through whatever type of emotional issues he going through, but he gonna teach our kids how to contain and their emotions and express their emotions appropriately, and he's gonna teach behavioral health as well as academics. All right, that's I mean, it's up to you if you want to enroll your kid in that type of learning environment. But me, I believe that this school, the actual facility, is something that we can use. It is something that we can use and we can work with. And we can develop the learning environment that will be conducive to what it is that we're actually trying to get accomplished in the field of education. But with Umar Johnson in the building, we have to really be mindful of all the antics that comes with that, and all of the luggage that he brings into the school building. Whether he is deserving or not, we know that the anti-fraud warriors are going to be lurking. All right, we know that there's going to be people coming to the building and trying to do their own little investigations to make sure that Umar got everything up to par. So when you know that the former principal is publicly documented to have quit the previous school, who was not able to actually get enough funding just due to enrollment, because they're a charter school and they actually took money from the state. They accepted money from the state for their funding. Umar don't even want to do that. So as a result, the Moyer Academy lost $830,000 in that 1 year. 830 bands. Now, Umar don't intend to even take this $830,000. So I need y'all to figure out where y'all gonna get this $830,000 that is not even the full budget. That's just $830,000 that y'all wasn't able to get from the state for the Moyer Academy because they missed the funding quota. I mean, they missed the enrollment quota. So Umar, you probably, I don't know, it's a private school, man. You probably don't even have an enrollment quota. But what I do know is that you're gonna need at least 830 bands plus whatever else you're going to need. So the FDMG School for Black Boys, all the donors, I need y'all to really look forward to funding the operations after you get done funding the actual HVAC and the I don't know, all the leaks that's in the building, and, you know, restoring whatever it is that needs to be restored inside the building. Now, Principal Donna Thornton, she had to quit because, you know, when you're a principal, you ain't going to get hired somewhere else in the middle of the school year unless somebody, you know, there's a position that comes available, and that just don't happen. So it's one principal per school, and under those circumstances, when you got hired at the Maurice J. Moyer Academy to be principal, and things ain't pop off, and it looked like you wasn't even going to be able to get paid your $100-something thousand a year, $200-something thousand a year that you entitled to because of your expertise, then you had to bust a move. You probably went somewhere and became a teacher or administrator somewhere, but you probably wasn't the principal that same year unless you left the city, which is very unfortunate. But hindsight is 20/20. But when you got history to refer to, I think you got to make some better decisions and be more prudent in your approach when you're going into the same type of venture. Now, when they missed that enrollment quota at the Moyer Academy, they had job cuts that came along with that. There were job cuts. So the assistant principal got laid off. 2 administrators got laid off. 3 clerical workers got laid off. And this coming straight from the president of K-12, which is the company that was running the Moyer Academy, right? His name, Ed Freddy. The Moyer Academy was being ran by a company. Now, that's another thing. How much money do it cost to pay this outside agency to come in and actually run the FDMG School for Black Boys and keep the operations consistent with what it is that's demanded by the Delaware Student Testing Program? First of all, get the test scores up, but then make sure that the operations are actually being ran in accordance with what's expected and demanded by the regulatory boards of the Delaware State Education Board of Education. Now, they had a 5-year renewal process. Now, the renewal process is 14 criteria. Now, the 3 criteria that they did not meet, which I'm concerned with because we are in the dark about what it is that Umar is going to do to meet these criteria, but the 3 that they did not meet at the Moyer Academy was student performance, as far as the grades, the curriculum, which may or may not affect the private school, and highly qualified teachers. Now, I don't know who's going to teach here, because highly qualified teachers going to need to get paid, Umar. They're going to need to get paid, Umar. And we don't know how they're going to get paid, Umar. Now, that's where we at right now. Now, that's something that everybody, the FDMG prospective donors, FDMG donors who've already contributed, FDMG detractors, FDMG haters, FDMG, I just want to know what's going on, people. Inquiring minds out here on the side, speculating and spectating. Everybody want to know, how do you pay the people? Now, I know you're looking for a lot of people to contribute their time and their labor. The time and their labor. You just want us to contribute our time and our labor. Now, when somebody have a light bill and they all willing to contribute their time and their labor, but they get a light bill that's sky high, and they just like, I gotta take some extra hours at the gig that's paying me this month and next month probably, because I got to get things back in order at the crib. So, I'm not gonna be able to come in here and contribute my time and my labor. What do you do under those circumstances, Umar? Are we gonna be like the Moyer Academy, open up and close? Is that what we're gonna do? Keep opening and closing because these kids had a hard time transitioning from the Moyer Academy into, I mean, you got almost 500 kids. It was 400 and what? 480 something kids ended up being enrolled here in 2015, man. And they ended up without a school. Now, the thing that I think the FDMG School for Black Boys donor group really should rely on is the community. Because the community around here in Wilmington, supported. I mean, not just morally supported, but they supported in the courtrooms, in protests, in activism. They supported the Moyer Academy, even though the school was really not doing well at all. But it was a lot of black kids who apparently loved the atmosphere, and a lot of their parents wanted this school to succeed. So they supported in large numbers and was able to help this school get its charter back. Now, unfortunately, they lost that charter very shortly thereafter, again, for a second time. So we're going to need more than moral support. We're going to need more than somebody who's a great speaker. We're going to need more than that. Now, all the people who are actual donors and who have actually contributed, we need y'all to take ownership over here at 610 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802. We're going to need y'all to take ownership of the community. We're going to need y'all to take ownership. We're going to need y'all to get with these community members, come out here on the front line, stand right out here in front of this red, black, and green rock. We're going to need y'all to come down here and flood the block. We're going to need y'all to come down here, set a date, and flood the block. We're going to need y'all to organize. We're going to need y'all to get with everybody that live down here at 17th and Spruce. We're going to need y'all to come down here. We're going to need y'all to organize it. You can go to the Block Captain website if you need to organize it. I got a platform that y'all could use, right? Y'all could go right there and y'all can organize a day and a time, and I'll be out here with you. I'll drive up here from Philly again, and I'll be right out here with you. And we'll decide what is the next move. Are we going to take this school building, save Umar from himself, and develop an IPO school corporation that we can actually develop our own curriculum as a community, and we can work in concert with right there, right next door, you got the Boys and Girls Club right there. So you got some resources around here. But sweat equity is what I believe, and group economics is what I believe in, and democratic capitalism, economically mobilizing the middle and underclass through group economics. I don't see any other plight that's viable for the black man, the black woman, and child. And that's just where I'm at with it. So the reason why I'm feeling like y'all need to move forward is because in all actuality, Umar Johnson does not have what he needs in place to attract new donors. That's just point blank period. He ain't got what he need to have in place to attract new donors. So since he used community funds, the community funds, and this is a donation business venture, I feel like there's certain things that have to be up to par in that particular relationship as well. So when you donate to somebody, you have to understand that that person in that particular business venture has to move forward in a timely manner. Now, timely is something that is relative to the people who are actually involved in the venture. So I have to ask the FDMG donor group, all of you, all the thousands of you, my people, and all the community members here in Wilmington, right here in the immediate vicinity, who want this school building to not just be sitting here as an empty building that's not dilapidated. Contrary to popular belief, that's not dilapidated, okay? Not dilapidated. It's a beautiful building. It's a beautiful building. All right? I need to know from y'all, do we need to get together and buy back the block. Now, everybody say, buy back the block, buy back the block. That's just a rap song. No, that's not a rap song. We already know that we got the support of the community. We already know that we got the support of the FDMG School for Black Boys donor group. We already know that. We already know we even got the support. Honestly, we really got the support of the anti-fraud warriors, because they, whether or not they are actually correct about it being a scam or not, they are putting in a lot of man hours to bring attention to this particular venture. So if Umar wanted to capitalize on that attention, all press is good press. So if he was doing what he needed to be doing, that would, in fact, everything that Lennon Honor, Anti-Afro, Svengalis, Make a Change, man, there's so many of y'all. I'm sorry to leave y'all out, man. But look, we could use that energy and we could turn it into a good thing if the donors organize. Now, timely manner, once y'all get together and y'all decide what's a timely manner, then we'll know what a timely manner is. Look, man, the donors, Umar, the donors, they getting restless over there, bro. They ain't trying to hear it. They all together on the block. Where you at? Everybody out here on the block, ooh. It's empty out here right now, but if all the FDMG School for Black Boys donors and all the community members over here in Wilmington were standing right out here on the block, and they told Umar, look, we're going to be out here next Saturday on the block, and we want you to stand out here and tell us what the next move is. And when y'all do that, Umar going to be out here and he going to have an administration. He going to have a board committee. He going to have contractors. He going to have everybody out here that he intend to pay with the money that he collected from the FDMG School for Black Boys donor group. Now, I'm calling out the people because the mission statement was great. The mission statement was great. It is great. We need a school for black boys, and ain't nobody ever going to be able to debate that. You won't refute that. You won't even dare refute that. Nobody ever does refute that, actually. We need more schools in our community to be built by us. Agreed. But Umar Johnson, are you building a school or are you buying a school? This is a school building. It's a school building. We see that. It's zoned as a school. FDMG. Private property. But y'all tell me, as a community, are we really on our job? Now I'm going to ask some people who've been instrumental in pushing Umar Johnson forward. And I appreciate y'all. But I want to know if y'all just some yes men, or if y'all really out here clout chasing, or if y'all really actually trying to get this thing moving forward. Because we got a guy like D. Durrell, who actually has his own behavioral health agency up and running, and he claims, and I believe him, to be generating millions of dollars because he has a lot of clients and he got a lot of clinicians working, and that's big up to that man out there in Texas. I'm looking at C-Rock Smooth, somebody who got good common sense, and he out here and he telling y'all, hey man, look, you don't know it's a scam, so why you calling it a scam? You can make your investigative reports all you want, but you don't know if it's a scam, so you shouldn't be calling it a scam. Let's see what's to it. Everybody ain't agreeing with everything Umar say and do. I don't see that coming from over there, so I don't call y'all yes men. What I say is, what are we actually demanding from Umar? Let's contribute some effort to giving Umar suggestions. And let's do a panel instead of y'all sitting over there arguing, because I did dig up on D. Durrell for the first time. I watched you in a minute, bro. And I'm seeing y'all over there arguing. I'm thinking y'all dropped y'all books and lost your lessons. Because to me, it don't sound like y'all even talking about the school over there no more. So focus up, bro. You could be a big contributor to this venture. Flacco, my man reached out to me, said he want to interview me. What's up with you? You know, we could do that anytime. Hit me up. We could do that anytime. We could do an interview. Talk about what would benefit our community. All the good guys, all the FDMG donors. I want to ask y'all, should Umar Johnson be our kids' principal? And should we, as a community, take ownership and organize the FDMG School for Black Boys donor group. Should we organize? And if you want to, I want y'all to hit me up, go down and drop it down the bottom in the comments section and let me know. Look, we don't want to repeat history, negative history, things that have harmed our community. We don't want that. So what we want to do, we want to organize, because we are just not organized in so many different ways. But this one right here is obvious. We got a school building down here. It was purchased for $400,000 of the church's money. Now, I don't go to church, but y'all know what I'm saying. That's a cliche. And Umar got the whole kitty. He ain't got just his hand in the kitty. He got the whole kitty. And we need to holler at Umar and find out what's to it, because we can't afford to let this building become dilapidated, in my opinion. Hashtag new reconstruction. Hashtag NRC. Let's organize the donors. Let's come down here to 17th and Spruce, to 610/611 East 17th, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802. And let's have some shareholder, donor activism. Let's get out here. Let's let Umar know we on our way, bruh. We on our way, bruh. We on our way, bruh. Hashtag new reconstruction. Hashtag NRC.